Okay, thanks for that, Stephen. Right, guys, I think we have the majority of people in. Sorry, I mean, this is kind of typical, IT issues. I'm sure you're all well used to it. You heard from my colleague there, Cara and Stephen. Stephen is one of our business mentors here that helps a lot with the kind of webinar side of things. So let me just start by kind of introducing you all. I know a lot of you. A fair few of you have already dealt with us a number of times, but I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to today's webinar, hosted by ourselves, InvestinU. But the actual webinar itself is going to be given by KARISSA McAnuff, is our digital marketing expert. Now, just a couple of things before we kick off the webinar. If I could just make sure that everybody has set their microphones to mute, just to kind of not get any background noise and stuff like that. We will then, towards the end of the session, if you have any specific questions at the end of the session, we'll ask you to unmute your microphone and you can kind of throw any questions you have our way towards myself or Cara or KARISSA, who's giving the actual webinar itself. So as you probably know, I think from the email going out, today's webinar is all about Instagram, how to grow your business online with Instagram, and KARISSA has great experience in that. Towards the end of the session, throughout the session, if you have any questions at all, what we would recommend that you do is put it into the chat area. So if you have any kind of specific questions, throw it up in the chat area. Myself and Cara will be keeping an eye, we'll be monitoring the chat area. So if you have any specific questions, throw them up there. And what we can do then is we can answer those questions at the very end as well. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear us okay. I'm going to switch over to KARISSA now in a second, but I just want to make sure that everybody is okay and everybody can hear. And as I said, just for those that are joining us now, if you can just make sure that your microphones are set to mute. So just before we kick off our handover, everybody okay? Everybody can hear okay? If you're having any technical issues, just make sure you can email us at info at letting a few more people in here. You can email us at info at investinu.ie, just if you're having any kind of issues as well, or if you've any kind of questions at the end of the session, you can throw them all good here. Right? Thanks, Alison. That's brilliant. So as I said, without further ado, without me waffling any further, I'm going to pass you over to KARISSA. So if I stop sharing here, KARISSA, okay, and I should let you take control there. You got everything there?
That's great. Thanks, Owen.
No problem at all.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. So we're going to talk all about Instagram, how to grow your business online using Instagram. Can you see my screen okay there? Hopefully you can. So first of all, we're going to talk about creating a clear bio. So this is one of the most important things that you should be doing on your Instagram page. So the mistake that a lot of people make is that they don't actually explain their products and services correctly within their bio. So it's really important to make sure that this is clear so that when someone lands on your page, they can see exactly you from your bio.
I'll just send it. Jumping over chat there.
So then when you go into your Instagram bio, you basically have all of these kind of fields here. So for the name, it's a great idea. This is actually searchable within Instagram. So this top name here where it says hair in the city, you can also put keywords in here. So for mine, I have social media manager. So I just have KARISSA social media manager. So you're obviously limited by the amount of characters that you have in this field. If you're a business, it's best to put in your business name. But if you have a few more characters to work with, this is searchable within Instagram. So try and add in what you actually do, or what your profession is, or what your business is, what type of business you are within that field. Also in your bio, you want to include a unique selling point. So what makes you different from your competitors, why people should essentially work with your business as against one of your competitors. You can also set your category here. So you can do this when you go in to edit your profile, and you can select from lots of different category options. And then you want to list out your business and services. So what your business actually does, and list out your products or your services, depending on what type of business that you are. And then you want to have a call to action as well. Now, it's really important to note here that I have the location tag at the bottom of the bio. So don't use the characters in your bio, because you're quite limited on the amount of characters that you have there. So you want to add your location as a location tag, which you can do once you go in to edit your profile. So that then frees up characters in your bio that you don't have to use on your location. You can then kind of give a bit more of a description about your business. You have more to work with there. So yeah, really important to have a call to action, and then to have a website link. So what you can do is you can put a link to a specific page, or you can also add an Instagram link. So there's lots of different apps you can use which allow you to add a link in your bio that has lots of different kind of call to actions and different buttons that people can click on. So it means that you can add multiple links. So you can direct to lots of different pages. This is really useful, and it's a great workaround for the fact that you can't put links in your captions on Instagram posts. So then the next thing then is making sure that your Instagram is on brand. So making sure that you have a cohesive Instagram feed, and that your branding is reflected throughout the content that you are posting. So this is basically all to do with your branding, your brand guidelines, your branding colors, and your branding fonts. So this is something that a graphic designer would do for you. When they're creating your logo, they'd also create your branding guidelines for you. So it's really important that you set a couple of colors, a logo, and a font that you want to use, and that this is displayed throughout your Instagram page, so that when people see your Instagram, that they recognize that it's you, and you're starting to build kind of a vision and clear branding on Instagram. This is really, really important. So this should be kind of displayed throughout your feed posts, your stories posts, and your highlight covers. So you can see here, I've just used my own profile as an example. So you can see here my branding is really, really clear. It's really clear in my profile picture, and then also throughout my Instagram story highlight covers, which are the same navy and pink color. And then in my posts, I have a specific font, and I have specific colors that I'm using, which is part of my branding palette. And then an example of an on-brand Instagram bio. So this is the link in bio I was talking about. So if you go into my Instagram profile and you click on the link in my bio, it'll then bring you to this link here. So there's lots of different buttons that you can click to bring you to different links. And as you can see, this is all on brand as well. It's the navy and pink, which are my branding colors. And then you want to reflect this throughout your Instagram stories as well. So you can see here that I have done Instagram stories, and I have again used the navy and pink colors, and then I've also on the right hand side I've used my one of my pattern templates, so that my branding is really kind of strong, so that when people are seeing a lot of different stories and they're kind of swiping through them, that mine are going to stand out, and they're going to recognize my branding from the stories that I'm posting. And then the next part is creating story highlights. So these are highlights that you would have seen on my page there. So I've just put in a screenshot here. So basically you want to use these highlights to highlight different parts of your business. So it's a really great way to allow your stories to last longer than 24 hours. So you basically will select a category, and you'll add lots of different stories into that specific highlight then. So you can actually go back to your archive. So if you go into the settings in your Instagram page, you'll be able to see all the stories that you've ever posted in an archive, and you can actually add these to different highlight categories. So if you have maybe a couple of stories that you've done from a previous event, or maybe a previous product that you've launched, you can actually group these and put these into a highlight, and put a branded highlight cover on that then. So it just means that that content is going to live on your page. Then your stories are going to show up above your feed posts. So it's a great way to communicate some more information. So this is how you go to your archive. So you go into your settings, select archive, and then you'll be able to look at your previous stories that you've posted, and you can search them by date with the calendar option in the middle, and you can also search them by location, which is the option on the right. So it's really important to use your Instagram stories. Instagram stories last for 24 hours. They're a great way to communicate with your audience on a more behind the scenes kind of, casual level. So basically your content on your Instagram feed should be more professional content. And then the content on your Instagram stories is more relaxed, more casual, as if you're talking to your customer kind of like their friend and you're building up a relationship and a rapport with them. So you really want to create the know, like, and trust factor. So when people get to know you, like you, and trust you, they're more likely to, trust your business and more likely to either inquire or buy from you. So talking head stories are a great way to tell your followers more about your business story. And they're also a great way to build up trust. So I know a lot of people don't like to go on and, essentially maybe put their face on camera, but it is a great way. If it's something that you're open to doing, it is a great way to tell people more about your business, putting a face to your business name. It's also a great way to communicate different behind the scenes stories, different kind of things that are going on in your business. It could be maybe like a what I do in a day at the office, that kind of content. You can also communicate things like meet the team. There's lots of different things that you can do on stories, but it's really important that you use stories to grow your business on Instagram. Just posting on your feed is not a good strategy. You definitely need to be incorporating stories in there as well. And then as well, you can save those stories to highlights so that they live on your feed for much longer then.
Sorry, Karissa, could I just ask a quick question there?
Yeah.
Just in terms of, you mentioned the bio there a minute ago, and I know you mentioned this to me before. One of the things I find a little different about Instagram when you're doing social media posting is that you can't post a link on Instagram. So could you just mention that again? I know you said it to me before about the bio and how you would use that bio, but would you mind just kind of maybe just going back over that for me again, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So it was back up at the start, wasn't it? So here where you have the link in your bio, so you can't actually post links in captions on Instagram. So a great workaround for this is to put one link in your bio, but it's basically what's called an Instagram link, so that when you click through, you then have multiple links on essentially like a web page, and you can click out to different links then. So it means that you're not limited to just the one link, that link is essentially driving to a selection of different links. So there's lots of different apps you can use to create these link in bio. I can list off a few of them at the end maybe, but like there's Linktree, there's Milkshake, there's the one I use called Shorebee, which is a paid app, but it's really good for creating really kind of branded link in bio. You can also design this in your website as well, so you can create a page on your website which has lots of different call to actions within that one page. So in terms of your website traffic and monitoring your Google Analytics and stuff like that, that one would make the most sense to actually have it implemented within your website. Is that okay?
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay, thanks, Cara. Okay, so so we're doing talking head stories. So you can use engagement stickers on your stories. So these are one of the best ways to convert your audience from a cold audience to a warm audience. So essentially, we want our audience to, be engaging with our content. We want to be chatting with them in the DMs, which is your direct messages. You want to really try and build a relationship and a rapport with them. So a great way to do this is you can use, in the first example there, you'll see that I've used a countdown sticker. So if you have a big product launch or you have something important happening in your business, you can actually set a countdown sticker on your story. And when that countdown is finished, the people who have selected to get notifications will actually be notified that your countdown sticker has ended. So it could be something like, for me, I say it would be, the newsletter has just gone out to my newsletter database. It could be our new product has just launched, our new website is now live, something like that. So this is a great way to engage with your audience, and you can also get stats on that then as well. So you can look at the people who've actually turned notifications on, and you can get a really good idea of the people who are interested in your business and who have converted from a colder audience to a warmer lead. And then the second example then I've used an emoji sticker. So you can actually use any emoji, you can add them manually, but for people to be able to swipe across and say if they they like something or they dislike something using this emoji sticker, you can then see the stats on it and see the people that are actually engaging with your content. And that's a great that's great stats to have, because then you can send them a direct message, maybe with a special offer if you know that they're a warm lead. So you can really do a lot of research using your stories. Polls, which is in the first example on this page, polls are a great way to engage with your audience and really kind of do some market research. So get some market research, what kind of products would they like to see, different information about your business. So it's a great way to engage with your audience to see what they actually want to see. So yeah, you can put up a poll and you can do different options in the poll. Sometimes I'll do polls with maybe 2 different emojis as the options. So it could be something like, which do you prefer, bananas or strawberries? And then you would use emojis in the polls. So you basically have a yes and a no option, and you can really kind of customize that and just make it really fun. And polls do get a great reaction, and then you can go in and see exactly who engaged in the poll and which answer they selected. So then that's really useful information to have. And then in the fourth example there, I've used a quiz. So here I have used it where there is no wrong answer. So the second option was the one that I had selected as the correct option. So you can basically use these to get market research, same way as you would with the poll, but you have 4 different options. Or you can also do it as kind of fun content. So which I don't know, which song do you like best or something like that. And you can have 4 different options. Or you can also use it to communicate the benefits of your product. So I have a client who's in the food retail sector. So for their product, we would say for this example, what are the nutritional benefits of this product? So we might say high in protein, low in fat, and low in salt. And then the 4th option we would put as all of the above. And we'd select that as the correct answer, so that when people answer the poll, they then know that that product has all of those 3 benefits. So it's a great way to communicate benefits and advantages of the product or service as well. So next we have creating a winning hashtag strategy. I know a lot of people do struggle with hashtags. So really the most important thing with hashtags is making sure that your hashtags are relevant to the content that you're posting. So say for example, for me as a social media manager, if I'm posting on my feed with a picture of a coffee, and then I'm then using social media manager or say marketing hashtags, that's not going to rank because the image is not related to what I'm actually putting in the hashtags. So you need to make sure that the content is relevant to the hashtags that you're using. And that's really the biggest trick with hashtags.
Sorry, Chris, I know I'm interrupting you again. Just with a question in the chat, just going back to what you were saying about the bio, and somebody mentioned that Linktree is a very good system to use. So the question was here from Iona. So would you then just have Linktree in the bio that leads to different links of your website, etc.?
Yes, yeah. So say for example, you could have maybe within your Linktree, you might have services, you might have an event that's coming up, you might have a contact me page. I suppose there are 3 good examples. So essentially, you're just putting the link of your website pages within that Linktree, and you have call to action boxes there.
Okay, and there's just one more question there about the hashtags. Should we have regular hashtags that we use all of the time or mix them up? I'm sure you're going to talk about that now, but
I'm going to talk about that now. Yeah. So essentially you want to have a few core hashtags, but what the best thing to do is to mix them up slightly in each post.
Perfect.
So you want to use 30 hashtags in each Instagram post. That is the limit that Instagram allows you. So the best thing to do is to draw out a few different categories. So, you want to have a couple of different categories. So say for me, I have Instagram categories. I have TikTok categories, I have Facebook categories, I have general social media manager hashtags, I have productivity hashtags, and then I have business related hashtags as well. And then you might want to add some location hashtags. So I'll try and tag Dublin, Ireland, Irish business, those kind of hashtags, so that you're actually having a couple of location hashtags. That's really, really important, because you don't want to be ranking. I don't want to be ranking on a social media manager hashtag that's mainly, you say businesses in the US. I need to make sure that that is actually focused on the location that I'm in. So you can use a combination of those to come up with your 30 hashtags. So as a general rule for smaller accounts, I'd always recommend that you use hashtags that have less than 1 million posts within them. Anything over 1 million, it's just too big. You're just not going to rank. So something like, I don't know, say you have a makeup post and you do hashtag makeup. That is a massive hashtag that you are not going to rank in. So that's a waste of a hashtag. That's not really going to benefit your business. So you really need to look at the hashtags that are kind of you're going to be able to rank in. So I would say use 20 small hashtags as a general rule. So what you want to do is break your hashtags down into different categories and then split them out into small and medium. And then you're also going to have a couple of location-based hashtags as well. So yeah, the best thing to do is list them out. I have all mine listed out in a Word doc, and then I just pull them as and when I need them when I'm posting. Yeah, so 20 small hashtags. So really try and kind of nail the 20 small hashtags, and then use 5 medium hashtags, which are kind of the bigger hashtags. They're more difficult to rank in because there's more competition. But if your post performs well in small hashtags, then you have the chance of it getting bumped up if it just happens to perform really well. And then your 5 location hashtags. So as I said, that can be, Irish business, Ireland, for food, there's one, this is Irish food, which is a really popular hashtag, and then Dublin, Ireland, Dublin business, those kind of hashtags that are actually going to rank you within location-based hashtags, which is probably where your client base is.
Perfect. There's just one more on the hashtags there. Another message coming in from Lingo Tot in South Dublin.
Hi.
Is there an advantage to placing hashtags in comments versus the main caption area?
So yes, so this is a really popular question. So in terms of how your hashtags are going to perform, there is no difference. So if you put your hashtags in your caption, they're going to perform exactly the same as if you put them in the first comment. So I always put them in the first comment because I think they look neater, and I find from a user experience point of view, it's better to have the hashtags in the first comment, because when people look at a post and they just see a load of hashtags, it can look a bit, I suppose, spammy, and it's not very appealing to the eye when you look at a caption and you just see like 30 hashtags kind of listed underneath it. So for that reason, I put hashtags in the first comment. But in terms of your reach or their performance, there is no difference. That shouldn't make a difference putting them in the first comment. So I hope that answers your question.
That's perfect. Thanks very much for that.
So just to reiterate that your post needs to perform well with your followers in order for hashtags to be effective. So I think a lot of people think that hashtags are going to explode their post and get a massive amount of reach kind of past the number of followers that you have, which is true, but it has to perform well with your followers first. So you need to make sure that you're sharing your post on your story as soon as it goes up, because if someone doesn't see the post on your feed, they probably will click on your story and they'll probably see that you have a new post live. So basically Instagram will show the post to approximately 10% of your current audience. And if it performs well in the first kind of, say, half an hour to an hour with your current audience and your current followers, it will then push it out to, rank on those hashtags. So you need to make sure that your content is really tailored to your audience and that your followers are enjoying your content. And that's where hashtags are really going to work and are really going to help you with your reach. And then, as I mentioned before, it's really important to make sure they're relevant. So obviously, as I said before, don't put up a picture of coffee and then use, say, social media manager hashtags or small business hashtags or something like that, because it won't Instagram basically is like, it's machine learning. So it basically looks at what's actually in the photo, and then it looks at what your hashtags are. So if they're not relevant, they're not going to rank you on the hashtag, because Instagram don't want, they want the hashtags basically to be as efficient as possible. So they want everything in that hashtag to be specific to what the tag is actually about. So yeah, just making sure that your hashtags are relevant is really, really important. So next, then we're going to move on to the more content creation side of things. So this is when you're actually putting your content together. So building your content pillars. So this is the first thing that you should do. This is the first thing that I do for all of my clients before I start working with them. Basically, I just line out a Word document and line out about 4 or 5 content pillars. So you're going to rotate between these content pillars in the content that you're going to post on your Instagram feed. So what you want to do is identify your customers' pain and pleasure points. So you want to identify what are their biggest struggles, what makes them happy. So if you can identify those 2 things, you can create your content around that, and it's solution-focused content. So essentially, you want people to look at your Instagram page, look at the content that you're putting up, and say, "Oh, that solves my problem," or "That's something I really want. That makes me really happy. I need to have that. I need to, have that product or have that service." So that's really important to keep in mind. So if you can list out your pain and pleasure points and then put your content together, your content pillars together based on what the pain and pleasure points are, you're going to be creating solution-focused content that's really tailored to your audience. And that's really what's going to help you to really have a good relationship with your audience.
Can I just ask you on that, Karissa?
Yeah.
So you mentioned the term there, content pillars. Can
Yeah.
you give us a little bit more of an example of what you mean by a content pillar? Like, what exactly does that phrase mean?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose your content pillars are your main topics that you're going to talk about on your Instagram feed. So for example, say for my own Instagram feed, I would talk about maybe Instagram updates. So it could be updates that Instagram have kind of announced in the last couple of weeks. Then I would have maybe testimonials. So that's another thing that I would want to talk about. Then I might have some personal content. So I might be talking about maybe my own personal wins in my business, or just things that are kind of happening in my own life to give kind of a background to me and my story. And then maybe I might be launching some products. They could be some digital products, maybe like an ebook on, I don't know, how to build your business on Instagram, and that might be something else that I want to talk about. So you essentially have kind of 4 or 5 main topics that you want to talk about, and you build your content out around those, what we call content pillars. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. And so then actually going to plan your Instagram content then. So when you're designing these 4 or 5 content pillars, and as well, it's not just 4 or 5, you could have a couple of more content pillars. It just depends on how you want your content to look and the type of business that you have as well, really. So there's 3 types of content that you should be sharing on Instagram. So first of all, we have educational content. So this is the most important type of content. This is the value. So you want to be constantly sharing value where your followers are actually learning something from seeing your posts. You're basically marking yourself as an expert in your industry and giving really, really valuable tips, tricks, just really valuable content that people will actually find useful. And that also, you really want to be creating savable posts as well. So you can save posts from Instagram down into folders within your Instagram account. So you want to be creating content that people want to save. So it has a lot of value in it. And a great way to communicate these kind of educational posts is to use carousel posts. So this is where you have the 10 swipe across slides within one Instagram post. You can create a lot of value in there. And that's the kind of post that people will want to save, and they'll want to, kind of come back to later, then they'll kind of mark it to come back to later. That's where your content is really working, when you're getting a lot of saves. Connection content is really important as well. Some people are not sure how much of their personal life or behind the scenes they should share. Like, how professional do you need to keep it on Instagram, and at what point do you share a bit more of your personal life? So this is the connection content. Basically, you want people to relate to you and see behind the business. So it could be things like meet the team, or it could be, you talking about maybe some small wins in the business. Maybe it could be something even more personal, like what you got up to on the weekend, things like that. Really, people like to connect with other people, and people do buy from people, so they like to see the people behind the brand. So this is what I mean when I talk about connection content, and then promotional content, which is your sales. This is your selling content. So I definitely recommend not to use too much promotional content. I would say 1 or 2 posts within every 6 should be actually selling. And the rest of the time you should be providing value and providing content that your audience actually want to see, and that they don't feel they're just being sold to all the time. Because people aren't coming on Instagram to be sold to. They want to come onto Instagram for escapism, to scroll on their phone, to have a bit of me time. So they don't want to be continuously sold to. So you have to, kind of really get the right balance between those 3 different types of content.
Sorry, Karissa, we have another question there on content.
Yeah.
So Zoe is just asking there, is there a recommended split between those 3 different types, between educational, connection and promotional? Like, would you split it out, say 50% educational, 30% promo, or is there kind of a formula there that you think works?
Yeah. So what I would normally do is I would have, say, if you take 6 posts, so in every 6 posts, you should have 4 that are educational, 1 that is connection, and 1 that is promotional content. As a general rule, if you have an offer or maybe a promotion that you're really trying to push, then I'd say push that up to 2 promotional posts. So maybe two promotional posts, 1 connection, and the rest educational and value.
Great.
So educational is the main type of post that you want to push.
That's great, thank you.
Teaching. Yeah. Okay, so then the power of DMs is the next topic. So this is really important. So using your direct messages to create meaningful relationships. You really want to be talking to your followers and your potential customers within your direct messages. And this is really going to give you an edge over your competitors, and just really allow you to have that one-to-one relationship with your customers. So what you can do is you can turn on quick replies. So this is a feature that Instagram has. So if you go into Instagram, you can actually write out a reply to say a query that you get all the time. It could be something like, how much are your social media management services? So you can type out a reply and maybe just leave a space for the person's name. And you can actually add a keyword so that every time you see a direct message that someone's asking that specific question, you can then just type in the keyword into your search bar, and it will actually bring up the instant reply. And you just need to say, add in the name, or maybe change a few of the details, but you have the actual template there. So that's really handy. That's a great way to kind of speed up the process of replying to direct messages, because it can be quite time consuming. And then building relationships in your DMs is really important. So you can do this by replying to stories from other people's accounts. So one of the most the best ways to create more conversations in your DMs is to reply to other people's stories. And you can do it in a way that it comes across very genuine, and that you genuinely have an interest in them. And yeah, it's a great way to kind of build up a rapport with different followers and potential customers, that when you see stories, you're kind of responding to them. You can also use voice messages in your DMs, which is a great way to give a kind of a more personal touch. So if someone messages you looking for, they're asking a question or they have a query, you can actually respond to them with a voice message, which is a really, really nice personal touch, especially in this day and age when everyone is, we're all kind of typing, we're on email, we're on text, we're on, written DMs. So to be able to send that personal voice message can really make all the difference, and really give a personal touch to someone that is inquiring on Instagram, and you're kind of able to build up that relationship and rapport with them, and they're more likely to trust you then as well. You can also send website links in your DMs. So as I said before, you can't actually add website links to your captions. So it's a great workaround that you can actually talk to people in the DMs, and you can send them a direct website link for the actual product or service that they're looking for. Instead of just directing them to the link in your bio, I would always recommend that you have a call to action in your caption that you're asking people to send you a DM to find out more information, because then you can talk to them one-on-one. Whereas if you direct them to the website link in your bio and they don't find what they're looking for, they could just bounce. They could just leave that web page and not come back to you. Whereas if you're talking to them one-on-one in the DMs, you can give them a really customized one-to-one experience. So, this is a great way to kind of, really grow on Instagram and, talk to your customers, and you're more likely to get leads, inquiries, and sales when you're building up this kind of rapport within your DMs. So finally, then, we have the best apps for content creation. So these are just a couple of apps that I recommend that you use. So the first one there is InShot, which is great for video creation. So this is just an app that you can download on your phone. As far as I know, it's available on Apple and Android. And you can basically edit lots of different video clips. You can add music over them. You can add different transitions. So it's a really great free editing app that you can use on your phone. And now with the rise of Instagram stories, IGTV, Instagram Reels, it's really important that you are sharing video content. And this is definitely the way things are going. It's one of the biggest trends for this year is the increase of video content across all social media platforms. So having an app like InShot is really, really handy, and the fact that it's free as well is, an extra bonus. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Canva. It's basically a graphic design tool. It's really, really easy to use. It's brilliant. You have lots of different templates in there, and you can create them in different sizes as well. So in terms of like a Facebook post, an Instagram post, Instagram story sizes, you can also edit video content in there as well, and you can create animated stories and animated kind of graphics, it's really, really, really handy. And then Facebook Creator Studio, this is a platform that I use. It's a free platform by Facebook, and you can use that to schedule out your Facebook and your Instagram posts. Another great app is Planoly. So I would recommend using this if you are scheduling out your Instagram content. So it basically lets you upload lots of different images, and you can rearrange how you want them to look within your feed, within your Instagram feed. You can also upload different hashtag lists in there as well, so that you actually group them together. So you just need to select the group of hashtags that you want to use when you're doing a post. There's lots of different features in there. You can add carousel posts, and you can schedule them out from Planoly as well. So yeah, starting off, I definitely recommend using Planoly, and there's a free version that you can use. So you won't have all the features, but you'll have most of them. So that's a great way to schedule out your Instagram content. And then I have the In Stories app there as well. So that allows you to create animated Instagram stories. I think there's about 300 templates in there. I'm nearly sure there's a free version. I have the paid version, but I think you can get a free version as well. There's lots of different templates, and it really just makes your content look a lot more professional. So they've great kind of animated options for your stories then as well. And then Instagram shopping. So I really want to talk about Instagram shopping. So this is basically something that you set up within your commerce manager within Facebook, in Business Manager, and you can then have all of your products listed within Instagram shopping. So I'm sure a lot of you have realized that your homepage when you go into Instagram has changed. So where you used to have notifications, you now have an Instagram shopping button. So Instagram are really, really pushing Instagram shopping at the moment. They've also added an Instagram shopping call to action within IGTV videos. So this is something that I see as being, the way Instagram is going and the way platforms are going, where they want you to actually stay in the app. Instagram don't want you leaving the app. So they've now, come up with a way that you can actually purchase, through the app with these kind of product stickers. So when you set up Instagram shopping, you'll basically be able to tag all of your products in your posts. And when you tag them, you'll see a small shopping bag icon. You might have seen it before. And then you will see the price next to the shopping bag icon as well. So it's great because people can just, click on the post and they can see exactly how much the product costs. They can also get more information really easily without having to kind of click, on too many clicks too far away. onto a website or something like that, they can get a lot of information within that post. You can also tag products on your stories as well. So of course, this is really going to drive sales for your business. And it's a great way, the way I was talking before about promotional content, you can, post about one of your products, but it doesn't have to be really salesy, because all people need to do is just tap on the image and they can immediately see how much the product costs and get a bit more information about it. So you don't need to be really, really salesy, because these buttons are just, they're so easy to use. And yeah, as I said, the shopping tab is really prominent now on the homepage, and it's something that Instagram definitely want to focus on. And then I've just added a few stats as well, just to give you an idea of how important it actually is to have your Instagram shopping set up, and in general, just to be using Instagram to drive sales. 81% of people use Instagram to help research products and services. So there's a huge amount of people who are actually using Instagram in the way that you would have previously used Google to actually search for different products and services. People are going in, they're searching for different accounts, different hashtags. So they're really using it as a search tool now. And 130 million Instagram users tap on shopping posts every month. So that is really a really key stat for setting up your Instagram shopping. And as I said, it's something that Instagram are really pushing at the moment. And you'll see that this is how your shopping tab looks now on your homepage, and your notifications have moved up the top of the screen, where the heart is, and shopping is a more prominent feature on your homepage now.
Can I just ask there, KARISSA, can somebody actually purchase the product through Instagram?
Yeah, so what happens is that you need to add the links to your website page then. So what people will click on is the badge, and they'll be brought straight to the page to purchase that product. So yeah, you need to implement all the links then from your website onto your Instagram shopping.
Okay, so the purchase actually happens through your website.
Yeah.
Via link. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I just want to thank you all for listening, and I hope you found this useful. It's given you a good insight into how you can use Instagram to build your business, and how you can have a really strong strategy in place into creating more inquiries, leads, sales, which is really what you want to use Instagram to use, and that you have a clear focus on how it can help your business. So if you have any questions, we will take some more questions.
Okay. We have a question here from Natalie. Do you have information on restrictions for adding music and swipe ups?
Yes, so swipe ups on stories are only available if you have 10,000 followers or more. So that's the restriction. So, obviously we would all love to have the swipe up feature, especially as a business. But a great way to get around that is to try and direct, people to contact you within your DMs, because you can then send them specific links, or using that link in your bio as I described before. So that's like your link tree, your milkshake link, Shoreby as I used, or you can actually set up links within your website. But yeah, it's 10,000 followers. And then for the music restriction, this is a massive problem, and it's something that I see so many businesses struggling with. So basically, when you're using music as a commercial business, you need a commercial license to use that music. So that is why business accounts are so restricted with the music that we can use. So actually, business accounts didn't have the music sticker for a long time on Instagram. And I think in the last kind of week or two, I think it was actually only last week that we actually got the music sticker for business accounts. And we got a selected, selected songs that we basically have rights to use. So they're not popular songs. There's nothing that's in the charts or anything like that. It's just songs that Instagram have selected that we have commercial rights to use as a business account. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's definitely a difficult one to get around, but that's basically the reasoning behind it for commercial license reasons.
Okay, perfect. I have another question here from Gemma. Is it too off topic to ask for some advice on using Facebook/Instagram ads?
No, not at all. I suppose that using Facebook and Instagram ads, I suppose it depends on what your objective is. So this is something that I do for my clients. I don't know, maybe you want to send us an email afterwards, and I can definitely give you some more advice on it. But what I would recommend for setting up Instagram and Facebook ads is to set up traffic ads. So that will basically direct the ads to your website. And then you can also edit the collateral that you share. So you can upload collateral specifically for an Instagram slot, a Facebook slot, an Instagram story slot. So you can actually upload images in different sizes depending on the placement where you're going to put them. In terms of budget, I think it depends again what your objective is. If you're just trying to create more brand awareness, I'd suggest about 100, 150 euros per month starting off with. That's generally kind of what a small business would be spending. Starting off and kind of see how you go, and then it's really important obviously to review the results, see how your ads are performing, and also setting up your Facebook pixel is really important on your website, so you can actually track what's happening on the website and you can retarget people who are interested in your ads but haven't actually converted.
Okay, that's perfect. And I think on that, just to mention there that it's quite different for every business, exactly what you're going to want to do. So just probably good time to mention that at the moment we have KARISSA does actually do one-to-one social media kind of training consultation. So if that's something that you're interested in, we have a 10% discount offer for anybody who's attended the seminar. So just give us a shout after. Just send an email to info@investinu.ie and we can set that up for you. Also, if you're interested in KARISSA doing your social media management, we have a 25% offer on for off the first month of your social media management. Plus she'll do some professionally designed Instagram story highlights. So the wonderful stories that she was talking about and how they get them more engagement. She'll be able to do that for you as well. Okay, just another couple of questions here, KARISSA, if you don't mind. So we got one from Iona here. She says there's a lot to digest, but she wants to know, can I move my videos that are in posts now to a highlight group, or any post into a highlight group?
So you mean feed posts? So Instagram feed posts into a highlight, I think would that be correct?
I think so. Actually, that was from Iona. Iona, do you want to unmute your mic there and maybe ask the question yourself? You probably ask it better.
Yeah, I just I have so much, like I never knew the story, so I have so much in my probably feed or whatever posts you call it.
Oh yeah.
And I just would like to kind of have the videos in one place in the highlights, but I haven't figured out how to move them across.
Okay, so what the best way to do it would be to share the posts to your Instagram stories. So when you go into your post, there's so you have the like, comment, and then there's also a triangle. You probably see it there on your phone. There's a triangle which allows you to share to your Instagram story.
Okay.
Okay.
Just good. Okay.
That makes sense, Iona?
Yeah. And
angle to share to story.
Yeah, I think it's add post to your story, and then you'll be able to, once you have them shared on your story, to group them. Yeah, you can add them to a highlight then and name your highlights. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you.
No problem at all.
I think Natalie has a question there. Natalie, do you want to unmute your mic there and ask?
Yeah, I was just asking about I received like a credit for ads from Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And like, is it a good idea? Obviously it is, like, it's free credit, but are they worth using, or do you know how they work?
Yeah. So how much was your credit for?
I think it was €20.
Yeah, so what you could do is you could set up, as I was saying before, you could set up either an engagement ad or a traffic ad, which will direct to your website. So what would be your biggest objective? Is it drive sales, or are you product based?
Yeah, product based.
Yeah. So the best thing to do would be to set up a traffic ad for €20. And yeah, you'll see really great results from setting that up. So basically,
okay. So like, it's the ads cost, on average, do they cost about €20, or do they vary a lot?
It depends. So it depends how long you're running the ad for. And also, yeah, it just depends on how it performs, like what the topic of the ad is and stuff like that. But no, I definitely recommend that you set up a traffic ad and you can promote a post that you've already shared. So if you have a post that's performed,
that's done quite well, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually give that an extra boost. So €20 will get you, yeah, it's obviously it's quite a small budget, but it will get you a lot more impressions and eyes on your content. So yeah, if you have the credit there, definitely use it.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Okay, so does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask KARISSA?
Yeah, you can unmute your microphones there if you'd like. I think, Carissa, with all that information, but just to say to you guys as well, listen, thanks so much, Carissa, for today's webinar. Just to let you know, guys, we have recorded this webinar, so we will have it up on our YouTube channel over the next couple of hours. So look out for that. So again, thanks a million, Carissa. Thanks for all the work, guys. Thanks a million for attending today's webinar. The other thing I will say to you is keep an eye on our website as well, InvestinU.ie, because we will, over the next couple of months, be running quite a few of these free webinar styles. And obviously today's one, the social media, we'll be doing some on Microsoft Office. There's quite a few of them out there as well. So stay tuned. As I said, we've got our YouTube channel. You'll find us on InvestinU. We've got our LinkedIn. We've also got our website at www.investinU.ie. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add, Cara?
No, just lovely to see all the faces here again today. I've met most of you at some stage along the way. Very nice to meet anybody new to the group. By all means, contact me. What I'll do is I'll send you details of the offer that we have on screen anyway, just so you have our details and everything. And then if you do want to have a chat with Carissa, or if you want to set up a one-to-one training, I kind of would highly recommend, before you do any kind of social media, to do that, because it seems like a simple thing to post some pictures and stuff, but that's not really what you're doing. It is actually quite a complicated thing, as you probably have guessed now from everything that we've done today. So there are a lot of things that you need to consider, and you could be spending a huge amount of your time and effort to get no reward whatsoever if you just kind of are not sure what you're doing. So by all means, I think that would be a great starting point for you, even if you do want to do all the social media yourself. In terms of if you just don't have time to do it yourself and you really would like somebody else to do it for you, again, we've got a great offer there of 25% off your first month. So again, if you want to contact me about that, and we can organize a session with Carissa for you as well. Okay.
Don't forget the email address is just info@investinu.ie as well. It was on the screen earlier on. And as I said, we will be putting this up. There we go. Thank you. Cheers, Carissa. And thanks a million, Carissa. Really informative, and I can see from the comments and stuff like that, people really, really enjoyed it as well. But as I said, guys, I promise over the next number of weeks, we'll be kind of running quite a few of these, so stay tuned. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a million, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Brilliant.
You.